Some of you watching this, you look fine. You're functioning, you're smiling. But Allah knows you've been crying in secret. You are hurting in ways no one around you understands. And I want to tell you something very important today. You are not being forgotten. You are being prepared for a healing that only Allah could write. Allah sees the pain. You're hiding from everyone. People look at you and they think you're okay. They see you walking, talking, working, smiling, and they assume everything is fine. But they don't see what happens when the door closes behind you. They don't see you fall onto the bed, not out of tiredness from work, but tiredness from life. They don't know that you're just surviving, not living. That most days, you're not looking forward to anything. You're just trying to make it to tomorrow. You're carrying so much pain inside, and you don't even talk about it anymore. Because what's the point? You feel like no one would really understand. No one would know how to respond. Or worse, they just tell you to be patient and move on, not knowing you've already been patient through 1,000 silent battles. You've learned how to smile so well that even you forget what your real face looks like. But you know who never gets fooled? Allah. He sees the heaviness you've hidden behind that smile. He knows the nights you woke up from sleep just to cry in the dark. He knows the meals you couldn't finish because your heart felt too heavy to swallow. He knows how you sit quietly in gatherings, laughing when expected, but feeling completely disconnected, like your soul is somewhere else entirely. And He sees the moments no one else ever will, like that time you were in sujood, too broken to speak. So you just cried into the prayer mat and let your tears say what your voice couldn't. Or the time you made wudu, not just to pray, but because your heart needed to feel clean again. Or when you whispered, Ya Allah, just help me get through this night. As you looked up at the ceiling, begging for peace that wouldn't come. That's the pain you've carried in private. The world didn't see it, but Allah did. And that is enough. You don't need an audience to validate your suffering. You don't need applause for your strength, because you have a Lord who witnessed every single second, and that makes your pain sacred. You are not weak. You're not dramatic. You're not broken beyond repair. You're just human, and you're carrying a heart that Allah is softening for a reason you don't understand yet. You might not see it now, but every tear you've cried has moved something in the heavens. Not one of them fell without being recorded. Not one moment of your exhaustion has gone unnoticed. Do you know how many angels are around you? When you are at your lowest, when you are crying in silence, angels are present. When you're praying with a cracked voice, angels carry those dubras to the throne. And when your heart says, Ya Allah, I don't even know what to ask for anymore, Allah responds, I know, and I am still here. He knows that you didn't choose this storm. He knows that this heartbreak wasn't your plan. He knows that you're doing your best just to keep breathing, even when it feels like your chest is full of stones. And He knows that part of you feels guilty for not being strong enough in your faith right now. But here's something your heart needs to remember. Even your sadness is not outside of His mercy. Even your confusion, even your doubts, even your tears, they are not signs of weakness. They are signs of a heart that is trying, a soul that still turns to Allah even when it's too tired to stand. There is so much reward for the pain that no one sees, because that is the pain that Allah Himself is carrying for you. You're not failing. You're just being softened, because what Allah wants to give you next requires a new heart, a deeper heart, a heart that understands pain so it can one day carry purpose. This moment you're living in right now, where everything feels too quiet, too heavy, too long, this is not the end. This is the middle of your story, and it's the chapter that Allah writes in secret because He's building something that's just for you. Something you'll one day receive and cry over, saying, Ya Allah. So this is why you made me wait. The very pain you're hiding today, the one no one asks about, the one no one even sees, is the pain that will become the seed of the most beautiful blessing in your life. Allah hasn't abandoned you. He's not ignoring you. He's not punishing you. He is preparing you, softening you, elevating you. Because even if the world doesn't see your pain, Allah has already written healing inside it. And soon you'll see it too. The ones Allah loves the most, He tests the deepest. You've been wondering, why does it keep happening to you? Why do the people who lie seem to live in peace, while you who try to be honest are barely holding on? Why do the ones who hurt you walk away smiling, while you're left trying to forgive in silence? You sit there with your head down, not because you've given up, but because you're tired of carrying something you don't even know how to explain anymore. You've been praying, you've been patient, you've tried your best to be kind, to be soft with people who weren't soft with you. And still, it feels like the pain keeps knocking again and again. But do you know who else felt this? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best human being to ever walk this earth, the one who Allah loved more than anyone, and yet he was tested more than anyone. He buried his children with his own hands. He was mocked by his people. He was abandoned. He was starved. He lost the love of his life, Khadija, and his beloved uncle in the same year. His companions were tortured. He had no home to go back to. He made dua in the night while the whole world was asleep, begging Allah to help him through just one more day. He felt heartbreak. He tasted grief. He cried in sujood until the ground beneath his face was wet with tears. And still he never stopped trusting Allah. He never said, why me? He never gave up. He just kept walking with a broken heart and complete faith. So if you are being tested right now, if you are in pain that no one around you understands, please know this. It does not mean Allah is angry with you. It does not mean you're being punished. It means you are loved. Allah tests the hearts. He wants to purify. He tests the souls. He wants to draw closer. He tests the ones He has chosen for a greater path, a path the world may never understand. Because only the ones who carry pain can carry purpose. Only the ones who cry in private are given strength in public. Only the ones who feel broken now will one day be raised in honor in a way no one saw coming. Sometimes Allah doesn't remove the pain immediately, not because He doesn't care, but because He's doing something deeper inside you. He's stretching your heart so it can hold more compassion, more sabr, more wisdom, more understanding, and more Him. The kind of tests you're going through right now, they're not empty, they're not random, they're loaded with mercy, even if they don't look like it right now. Allah says in the Quran, do the people think they will say we believe and not be tested? Surah Al-Ankabut 29:2. Belief doesn't come without struggle. Sabr doesn't come without pain. Elevation doesn't come without falling first. So don't compare your life to someone else's timeline. You might look at someone whose life looks easy, but you don't know what they're carrying. And even if they truly have no pain, maybe their heart was never chosen like yours. Because the ones Allah truly chooses, He doesn't leave them comfortable. He trains them, He prepares them, He refines them. And yes, sometimes it hurts, but even that pain is a sign that Allah is not done with you. He is working on you, building something inside you that ease could never teach, There are things Allah wants you to feel so you can be more than you ever imagined. And the beautiful part, He never lets you feel it alone. Even when no one gets it. Even when you sit with your pain and think, Ya Allah, I don't know how much longer I can take this. He is closer to you than your own voice. He is closer than the people you wish would check on you. Closer than the friends who've disappeared. Closer than your own heartbeat. So don't look at someone else's life and wonder why yours feels heavier. It's because Allah is using your pain to take you somewhere higher. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll look back and say, that pain made me. That storm introduced me to my real dua. That silence became my doorway to Allah. So if you feel like you're drowning, if you feel like you're at your limit, know this. You're not forgotten. You're not weak. You're not being destroyed. You're being prepared. You're being protected. You're being pulled towards a version of yourself that only pain could reveal. And when the healing finally comes, when the ease unfolds in front of your eyes, you'll realize something beautiful. Allah never left. He was just writing a chapter of your story that needed to be felt before it could be understood. So hang on, not because it's easy, but because the one who is testing you is the same one who is loving you through it. And one day, very soon, you'll say through tears of gratitude, it hurt, but it led me to Allah, and that made it all worth it. Private pain prepares you for public light. You've cried in places no one saw. You've walked through days that felt endless, nights that felt heavier than your chest could carry. You've had moments where you smiled in a group, then went home and collapsed in silence, wondering if you could keep going one more day. And the hardest part, nobody knows. Nobody sees the emotional bruises. Nobody notices the ache behind your eyes. The way your soul drags itself forward while you keep showing up for everyone around you. You've mastered the art of being okay, of being fine, of saying Alhamdulillah with a smile that hides how close you were to breaking down in the car just minutes earlier. But here's what the world doesn't understand. What your Creator never missed. Those private tears are not wasted. You may think nothing is changing, that your pain is sitting still, that your dua is floating unanswered, that your patience is being buried in silence. But behind that silence, Allah is building something you can't yet see. He sees how you break down in sujood, how you whisper, Ya Allah, I don't know what to say anymore, but you know what's inside my heart. He sees the nights you begged for clarity, of the days you forced yourself to be patient, when everything inside you wanted to give up. And He sees something even deeper, something no one else can measure, that despite the pain, you kept turning to Him. You didn't run away. You didn't throw away your faith. You didn't curse the sky. You just cried softly and waited. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's a heart being trained for something bigger than the pain. Sometimes Allah breaks you down in secret because He's preparing to raise you in a way that would shock even you. But before He shows the world who you're becoming, He hides you. He isolates you. He puts you through a season of fire, so you come out refined, shining, healed, stronger, softer, clearer. Because not all growth is public. Some of the deepest transformation happens behind the scenes, when no one's clapping, when no one is watching, when no one knows what you're fighting through just to stay afloat. That's where Allah does His best work. Not on the stage, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. He pulls you away from the noise so He can clean what the world damaged. He closes doors so you stop running to people who never knew how to love you. He breaks you open so He can finally pour His light into the cracks. And I know you probably don't want to hear that right now. You're tired. You've waited long. You've begged for the pain to go away. But what if I told you this pain was never meant to stay? What if I told you it was a bridge, not a prison? It's the hidden training ground, the secret rewiring of your soul, the divine shaping of your inner will. So when the blessing arrives, you'll have the heart to hold it. Because without this season, you wouldn't have become the person Allah wants you to be. You wouldn't have learned Sabr the way you're learning it now. You wouldn't have understood Tawakkul until it was the only thing left to hold on to. You wouldn't have known how strong your dua could be until your pain taught you how to cry it out like a child before the one who never turns you away. So yes, you're hurting. Yes, you're hidden. Yes, you're exhausted. But you're also becoming someone who knows how to stand alone. Becoming someone who knows how to find Allah in the dark. Becoming someone who no longer fears people leaving because your worth is no longer tied to who stays. You're not falling apart. You're being rebuilt quietly, carefully, divinely, and one day soon you will step into the light, not as the person who broke, but as the person who survived what should have destroyed them. And the world will ask, how did you do it? And your soul will smile because it knows the secret. It wasn't me. It was Allah. They'll see the glow, but they won't see the nights. They'll hear the strength, but they won't hear the breakdowns behind it. They'll admire the calm in your eyes, not knowing how many times you wept into your palms, asking Allah to help you breathe again. And that's okay, because you'll know you were never alone in your pain. And every silent breakdown was actually a divine rebuilding. You just didn't know it yet. Like Hajar in the desert, you're about to find your Zamzam. She was alone, a woman in a barren desert, no roof over her head, no one beside her, no idea what was coming next. Her baby was crying and she had nothing, no food, no water, no shade, just the heat, the wind, the fear, and a heart full of love and faith. Her name was Hajar, and today millions walk between the same two hills she once ran through, desperate and exhausted. But back then there was no crowd, no city, no sacred masjid, just her and the silence. Imagine that moment, the panic, the anxiety, the sound of her baby's shallow breathing, the pain in her feet, the ache in her chest. And still she ran, not once, but 7 times. Between the hills of Afa and Marwa, she moved back and forth, searching, praying, crying, hoping. She wasn't walking for attention. She wasn't running for show. She was running with the last piece of strength she had for someone she loved, for her son, for her soul. And even though it looked hopeless, Allah was watching every step. He was watching her desperation. He was watching her tears. He was watching her silently call out, Ya Rab, help me. And then from the most unexpected place, beneath the feet of her baby, Allah made water rise. Not just water, Zamzam, a miracle, a gift, a spring that still flows today. From pain came provision. From fear came legacy. From isolation came eternal reward. So now let's come back to you, sitting alone, hurting quietly, praying for something you can't even name anymore, feeling forgotten, feeling unseen, worn down from running between your own hills of heartbreak. left to sit in the dry desert of unanswered dua la huwa. You feel like nothing is working. You've been trying, pushing, waiting. You feel like you're running out of strength, running out of faith, running out of time. But what if your story is just another version of hers? What if you're in the middle of your Afa and Marwa, not realizing that Zamzam is already forming beneath your feet? You see, Hajar didn't see the water coming. She didn't know it would flow forever. She just kept walking. She kept praying. She kept trusting. And you've been walking too. Every prayer you made while crying was a step. Every night you didn't give up was a step. Every time you got up after falling apart was a step. And Allah has been watching all of it. You may feel unseen by the people around you, but your Lord is recording every silent sacrifice. You may feel forgotten by this world, but Allah has remembered you in every moment of heartbreak. You may feel like the wait will never end, but perhaps the relief has already started underground. Sometimes the miracle doesn't begin with an announcement. Sometimes it begins quietly, softly, underground, where roots are growing before the tree ever appears. Your miracle is coming. Your Zamzam is near. It just hasn't reached the surface yet. You're not abandoned. You're being witnessed. You're being honored in a way that even you can't see right now. Allah could have made water fall from the sky for Hajar, but instead He made her run. He made her search. He made her push forward, not because He wanted her to suffer, but because He wanted to make her strong, to make her legacy eternal, to make her steps sacred. And Allah is doing the same with you. Right now you are walking between your own hills. You are living a test that will one day become someone else's hope. You are crying a dua that will one day be quoted as someone else's comfort. You may not see it now, but your private struggle is writing a story that angels are recording with light. Every time you whisper, Ya Allah, a door is being knocked on in the unseen. Every tear is watering the ground for a tree of blessing you haven't seen yet. Keep walking, even if it's slow, even if it's painful, even if your knees are shaking, even if your chest feels tight, even if your heart whispers, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. Walk anyway, because you never know. The next step might be the one that brings your Zamzam to the surface. And when it comes, you won't even be able to explain it. The peace, the provision, the mercy, it will flow in ways you never imagined. And you'll remember these nights, these exact moments when you were tired but didn't stop. And you'll cry again, not out of pain this time, but out of gratitude, because Allah kept track of everything. Everything you thought was unnoticed, everything you endured in silence, everything you gave when you had nothing left. He saw it all. And He chose to answer you just like He answered her. So don't be ashamed of your desert. Don't hate your silence. Don't curse your wait. Because sometimes the deepest miracles begin in the loneliest places. And sometimes Allah hides the Zamzam until your heart is ready to drink it. It's coming. Even if it hasn't shown itself yet, even if no one else sees it, keep walking. Because soon you'll stop, look down, and find that everything you prayed for was already rising beneath your feet. Even the Prophet hid in a cave before the rise came. There comes a point in every believer's life when they wonder, why is everything quiet? Why is Allah so silent? Why is the help not coming yet? And you feel it deeply. You sit alone in a space that used to feel full, now empty. You reach out, but no one really understands. Not your friends, not your family, not even you. You just feel like you've been placed in a cave, away from the world, away from comfort, away from what made you feel like you. And it hurts. But let me tell you something the world forgets to remind you. Even the Prophet ﷺ was hidden before he was revealed. Even he, the most beloved soul to Allah, had to sit in stillness, in darkness, in the unseen. He didn't start on a stage. He didn't begin with followers. He didn't rise from light. He rose from the cave. Before the message came, he would retreat to Ghar Hira, a cave, not in the city, not in a masjid, not surrounded by supporters, but far from the noise. Days at a time, alone, just him and his thoughts, just him and his Lord. And when revelation did come, it wasn't easy, it wasn't soft, it shook him to the core. He ran home trembling, terrified, unsure of what had just happened. And again, who was there to comfort him? Not the crowd, not the followers, just one person, his wife, his peace, Khadija. That's how it began. A message that would shake the world began in a cave and with a man who was afraid. You see, even the greatest light has to pass through darkness first. And maybe that's where you are right now. Not rising, not glowing, just sitting in the stillness, in the waiting, in the cave no one else understands. Maybe this is your Ghar Hira, your sacred silence, your divine detour. You keep wondering, why am I stuck here? But what if you're not stuck? What if you're being shielded? What if Allah pulled you back from the noise? Because your next chapter needs peace before it needs people. What if the version of you that will change everything is being quietly formed right now in the darkness you keep trying to escape? What if this cave is not the place you were buried, but the place you are being born again? Sometimes Allah hides you because He knows the world isn't ready yet, not for the version of you that's coming, not for the strength you'll carry after this test, not for the clarity you'll speak after going through what tried to silence you. And here's the thing, caves are lonely, they're uncomfortable, they echo back your thoughts, they force you to sit with your wounds, to feel the weight of what you're carrying. But they're also sacred. They strip away distraction, they quiet everything around you until all that's left is you and Allah. And that is where transformation begins. So if you've been pulled away from people, from opportunity, from movement, don't panic. You are not lost. You are not failing. You're just in a pause that heaven wrote for you, a holy interruption, a divine breath before the rise. Because every rise needs preparation. Every warrior needs solitude. Every message needs a messenger who has been broken, rebuilt and softened before they can carry the weight of what's coming. You can't run into the next season of your life with wounds that haven't been acknowledged. So Allah makes you sit in the cave with your scars, with your confusion, with your dur'a, not to shame you, not to harm you, but to ready you. Even the Prophet ﷺ didn't understand it at first. Even he needed time. Even he had to be still before he was called. So if the Prophet ﷺ, the best of all creation, was placed in a quiet season before his mission, how can we expect our own elevation to arrive without preparation? This season is not the end of you, it is the formation of you. And one day you'll emerge from this silence with something stronger than answers. You'll rise with wisdom, with calm, with clarity, with sabr. And the world will look at you and say, where were you all this time? And only you will know, I was in my cave and Allah was preparing me in private for a rise that would speak for itself. So don't rush it. Don't curse the stillness. Don't question the delay. Just whisper, Ya Allah, if this is my cave, make it my cradle. If this is my silence, make it my secret peace. And when I rise, let it be for you and because of you. Because the one who placed you in the cave is the same one who will call you out of it when your light is ready to meet the world. When you're alone, Allah's voice becomes loudest. There are times when the world gets quiet, not because everything is peaceful, but because you've been pulled away. People stop calling, plans stop working, doors stop opening, and the very people you used to lean on just fade. You sit in your room and wonder, why is everyone so far? Why don't they check on me like I do for them? Why do I feel like I'm fading in everyone's life, but I can't get them out of mine? And in that silence, you start questioning your worth. You start wondering if maybe you're too much, too quiet, too soft, too broken. But what if that silence was actually an invitation? What if the reason people can't hear you is because Allah wants you to finally hear Him? You see, when your life was loud, you barely had space to feel anything deeply. You were surrounded, distracted, always replying, always helping, always present for everyone else, but not for yourself. You lost touch with your own soul because the noise never stopped long enough for you to ask what your soul was really aching for. So Allah, in His wisdom, didn't yell to get your attention. He just removed the noise. He didn't take everyone away to punish you. He took them away to protect something sacred, your connection to Him. Because sometimes it's only when you're alone that you finally notice the voice you've been ignoring all along, the quiet one, the gentle one, the one that whispers, return to me. That voice doesn't compete, it waits. It doesn't push, it invites, and it says, oh my servant, you've given so much of yourself to others. Now come and give yourself to me. You see, there's a reason why Allah calls us in solitude. Because in that solitude, we stop pretending, we stop performing, we stop pleasing everyone else, and finally come face to face with the version of ourselves we've been running from. And that version, that's the one Allah wants to heal. Not the filtered version, not the polished one, but the real one. The one that cries in the middle of the night with no one watching, no one comforting, no one responding except Him. And in that moment, when you feel like you're breaking quietly, the sky is listening, the angels are surrounding you, and your Rabb is closer to you than the pain you can't even describe. He sees the way you whisper, Ya Allah, I don't have anyone to talk to. And He responds, I've been waiting for you to talk to me. He sees the way your heart aches when you miss someone who never even noticed your absence. And He responds, I was never absent from you. He sees the way you're tired of always being the strong one, the one who checks on everyone else while you go unseen. And He whispers, you've never been unseen by me. And you know what's beautiful? In this silence, He's not just healing you, He's teaching you. He's teaching you how to be okay without depending on people. He's teaching you how to breathe without needing constant reassurance. He's teaching you how to feel loved even when the world goes quiet. Because sometimes you don't need more voices. You need less. You don't need the crowd. You need clarity. And that's what solitude gives you. It strips away the background noise, so your heart can finally rest in the one who never leaves. You begin to realize that the peace you were chasing in people was always waiting for you in sujood, that the attention you were craving from others was already overflowing in the eyes of your Lord. And this changes you. You stop begging to be seen, because now you feel held by the one who sees the unseen inside you. You stop fighting for someone to stay, because now you're resting in the companionship of the one who never left. And you stop trying to explain your pain to people who were never meant to carry it, because now you've found the only one who can. You learn how to make dubra, not just with your voice, but with your silence, with your tears, with the way you sit alone in the dark and simply say, Ya Allah, you know. And He does. He knows the details you didn't say. He knows the triggers you didn't explain. He knows the heartbreak you kept quiet because you didn't want to burden anyone. And not only does He know, He cares. So if you're feeling alone right now, please understand, this isn't loneliness. This is sacred space. This is the space where hearts are rewritten, where identities are healed, where purpose is reborn, where Allah becomes not just your Lord, but your closest friend. And one day, when the silence lifts and the world starts moving again, you look back at this season, this hidden, quiet chapter, and you'll cry again. But this time, not because you were lonely. You'll cry because you'll miss the closeness, the intimacy, the secret connection, the way your heart whispered His name in the dark, and somehow you felt okay. So don't curse this isolation. Don't rush out of it. Don't numb it with distractions. Sit in it. Feel it. Let it cleanse you. Let it teach you. Because when everyone else is gone and you're still breathing, still rising, still walking, it means you were never walking alone. You just needed the silence to finally hear the one who's been walking with you all along. Your isolation is proof you're being rewritten by Allah. You've been feeling distant from everyone, even from your own self. And you don't know how to explain it to people anymore. You try, but the words always fall short. All you know is you're not who you used to be. And the old version of you feels like it's dying. It's not just sadness. It's not just tiredness. It's something deeper. Like your spirit is being emptied quietly, slowly, but completely. And in that emptiness, you feel alone. So alone, even in a crowded room, even when someone hugs you, even when people say, I'm here if you need anything. But how do you explain to them that what you've lost is not a thing, not a person, not an opportunity? What you've lost is a version of yourself. And you don't know what's coming next. But maybe that's exactly the point. Maybe this version of you, the one that gave too much, trusted too fast, doubted too often, and broke too quietly, wasn't meant to survive this chapter. Maybe Allah is not punishing you with this isolation. Maybe He's preparing you, rewriting you, rebuilding a new soul inside you, one that can no longer be shaken by what used to destroy you. It's hard, I know, when you feel like the world has moved on without you, when everyone else seems to be progressing, getting married, starting careers, smiling in pictures, and you're just here, still, uncertain, distant, lonely. But let me tell you a secret. Some of the most powerful transformations happen when no one's watching. Allah often rewrites His chosen servants, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. He takes you away from the noise, the distractions, the people you relied on more than Him, so He can finally speak to the version of you that knows how to listen. You see, when the crowd is around, you perform, you smile, you wear the right face, you say the right words, you carry the weight silently, because there's no time to fall apart. But in isolation, there is no pretending. There is only you and the honest condition of your heart, and that's where Allah begins the real work. He strips away what you thought you needed. He pauses the life you were building without Him. He lets the old you fall apart so He can replace it with something you never knew was waiting to be born. You're not being erased. You're being rewritten. And yes, rewriting hurts, because it means unlearning things you thought were part of your identity. It means letting go of the love that kept your heart numb for years. It means mourning a self that tried its best but was never meant to last. But after the breaking comes becoming. And when Allah rewrites you, He does it with mercy. He doesn't humiliate you. He doesn't rush you. He takes His time with you, because He's not just changing your path. He's changing who walks it. You've been crying, Ya Allah, where is everyone? Why am I so alone? But what if Allah is whispering back, you're not alone. You're just with me now. And in that quiet space, He's restoring things no one even knew were missing. He's softening the parts of you that became hard just to survive. He's removing the voices in your head that told you your worth depended on who stayed. He's healing the childhood scars you never had time to name, and you don't even see it fully yet. But day by day, something is shifting. The way you see people, the way you carry your pain, the way you no longer chase those who left, the way you breathe more slowly now, trusting that maybe this pause isn't punishment, it's protection. Allah never wastes a soul. If He's pulled you back from the world, it's only because the world was starting to define you more than He ever wanted it to. You were becoming something you're not. You were seeking love from people who didn't know how to love you with dignity. You were watering every garden but your own. So He took you away, not to isolate you, but to redirect you, to say, come back to me and let me show you who you really are. This is not the end, it's the seed. And seeds don't bloom in sunlight first. They grow underground, in silence, in darkness, in stillness. But when the time is right, they break through the surface, and suddenly the thing that looked buried was being built. So if right now you feel buried, trust me, you are not dead, you are planted. And when Allah decides to bring you into the light, you won't just return to who you were. You'll rise as someone no heartbreak can shake, no loneliness can define, no worldly praise can distract, because your soul will know it was rewritten by the author of mercy Himself. And one day, when people see you walking with grace, smiling with peace, loving without fear, they'll say, you've changed. And you'll smile back and say, yes, Allah rewrote me, and I finally met the version of myself He always intended me to be. When the healing comes, they'll know it was Allah. There will come a day, not too far from now, where you'll wake up and notice the heaviness in your chest is gone. The ache you carried for so long, it has disappeared quietly, just like it came. And you won't even remember the exact moment it left. You'll just feel lighter, softer, free. You'll find yourself smiling for no reason. You'll catch yourself laughing again, but this time not to cover the pain. This time it will be real. And in that moment, something inside you will whisper, this is what I was praying for, not the thing.